took your favorite game and made a movie so bad you had to spew. What's a nerd to do? Well, listen to 8-Bit Movie Review with Josh and Andrew. It's 8-Bit Movie Review.
This is Andrew Gonzalez.
And I am not being involved in this skit, who is named Josh Edgington.
And this is 8-Bit Movie Review, the podcast where we watch movies and series and discuss... Wait, I fucked up. This is 8-Bit Movie Review, the podcast where we discuss movies, series, and everything about video games. And this week, part of our Halloween
Month.
That's
the word.
What number is this? Episode 2. This is episode 2 of our Halloween month, where we're discussing Resident Evil Extinction. My dog is off the charts today.
It's Irish American Festival.
Is that what it is?
There's people everywhere.
I know they're doing like a...
I was going to be 20 minutes
hunt.
early, but getting from the head of Market Street all the way here, it took 20 minutes.
Oh, I know they were doing like an Alice in Wonderland's like
I
scavenger
saw
hunt.
some. Yeah, I saw people dressed up for that too. I didn't pass that though.
I didn't know. Well, that makes more sense. I'm like, wow, everybody likes this Alice in Wonderland, fucking thing going on here.
Well, speaking of Alice, this week we covered Resident Evil Extinction, featuring Alice. Ah!
Oh, I meant to do. Where the fuck? It's been a while since I used that one. But Josh, you know what? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, if you need a recap and you want to see Mia Jovovich naked, watch the first one. Full bush.
No bush in this one.
No titties either.
We did see a zombie tits.
Oh, we did see a zombie titty.
A zombie titty.
One zombie titty.
But Josh, you know what? Before we get into this, let's get into the gaming zone.
Highway to the gaming zone.
Now, for folks at home, what we do at the gaming zone is we try to what's wrong with
Stop with that accent.
Now, with the gaming zone, we try to talk about what games we're playing and also what games we're interested in that are coming out. And the major one we're going to talk about today is God of War Ragnarok.
I won't if you keep doing that voice.
What's wrong with this voice, Josh?
I hate it.
Well, it loves you.
I quit.
Now, before we get into the discussion of, I keep almost saying Thor Ragnarok. It's a fucking mess. But God of War Ragnarok, because that storyline trailer dropped the week of this record, and I don't know how many times you've watched it, Josh, but I've watched it about 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's been insane. What are we playing? You playing anything new, Josh?
No. I finished my first playthrough of Last of Us Remake, Part 1. And then I started a collectibles run, because I've never done that before. And I made it easier for myself, because I gave myself unlimited ammo and explosive arrows.
Nice.
Plus, with this game, there's a new game plus called Full Loadout. So you start at the beginning of the game with every single weapon, as opposed to finding it throughout the story and then having it.
Oh, so you just kind of get ahead.
As soon as you grab your backpack in Boston, you have every single weapon that you can get throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I want to play it, but I just don't want to pay full price for it.
Yeah, that's fine. I did. It was worth it to me.
I wish they would give you like a little bit of a discount for having the previous release.
I don't care.
You're
just a hater. That's
you just want to, and the more money I throw at this, the better the third one's going to be.
That's exactly my mindset. I loved it. I don't care it was $70. I've already bought it like 3 or 4 times. I don't care. Buy it again. Fuck you.
I am looking forward to playing again, though, remastered. I am going to play it at some point. when I have the funds. It's just
The Fawns?
the funds.
Hey, let me get you Last of Us 1 remake.
I've actually been still playing my playthrough of Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
I'm going to start that actually tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great game. We will be discussing it in our next episode.
Yep.
And I'm at the Anti-Chapel.
Anti-Chapel.
Is that what it's called? Like when everything's upside down?
Ah, so you figured out how to not get the bad ending, or did you see the bad ending and then...
No. Oh, so if I got the bad ending, you don't go through to that?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
So you know how you get to Richter, and then if you find a certain item, you can see like a crystal ball thing above his head that you're supposed to hit? And that's how you get to the inverted castle.
I guess I didn't notice the thing above his head and just like kept attacking him. Maybe I did. I don't remember the battle that much because a lot has happened in that game. But he's okay now. And they're like, you got to go fight this guy that's like, oh, I'm going to raise your father from the dead. And he runs away and goes into the upside down. The upside down world. And now I'm there. And I think it's really cool that it's like the same, though everyone's 3 times as hard now.
Yeah, the castle's upside down, right? Like the map's upside down. That's where you're at.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you did. Because if you don't, the guy's name is Shaft, isn't it?
Yes.
The sorcerer's name is Shaft.
Shaft.
I was trying to think. I remember it being some fucking really stupid name.
It was Shaft.
A white guy. A white mage named Shaft, or
Shaft.
necromancer, I guess. Yeah.
I gotta try to remember all these names, but it is very interesting. You know, I won't go
Alucard, Maria,
too deep
Richter,
into it.
Simon.
But I did have a question for you on it. Now I'm trying to get all of the map. In the first world, there's a part where it's outside, and like I can't get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I can't get to it till later, or is there...
Do you have the ability that allows you to shoot up in the air?
No.
All right. Well, wait till you get that.
Do I get that in the Anti-Chapel or the upside down?
Yeah, you probably will.
Okay. And one more thing, the clock tower. How do I get to that right side?
So I can't remember. Either you use the time power thing there, and it opens one side, and then at a certain time on the actual clock, it opens up another angle.
Okay.
So I think if you randomly got to one side of it, if you use that power, the
time
stopwatch, you use it there, I think it opens up the other path.
Okay, I'll have to do that because I got the other side. I'm trying to get all the map. That's my plan. And I only have that small spot that I need to get to.
How many secret walls have you found?
I think in one map, all of them. But I'm not sure though yet. I have a fairy with me that goes, something seems weird. And she like tells me everything. So I've been keeping her around because she usually tells me when there's a false wall.
The old false wall.
Which is cool because there's some areas where it's obvious and then there's some areas where it's not obvious at all.
There's also some areas where you have to do super unique puzzles to open up walls.
Huh. Well, we're definitely going to deep dive into that next week. But I think I really want to do a small little deep dive into is the discussion of God of War Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok is Taika Waititi's first installment in the MCU. Not Thor Ragnarok? Oh, okay. Well, it does have Thor in it, yeah. So earlier this week during the State of Play, right before the Nintendo Direct, we got the story trailer finally for God of War Ragnarok, which basically shows that this journey is one more where Atreus is kind of leading the way and Kratos is just kind of following, which to me, that doesn't look good. When we're taking the main character as being not the focal point of the story, kind of seems like he might die or something.
I had a feeling that this is where they might be leading it.
Yeah.
Because there was something, wasn't there something in the last game that like he kind of hid, and it looked like kind of like that Atreus might be killing
No, yes. So when they start showing all the prophecies when they're in Jotunheim, one of them that's covered that Atreus doesn't see is him holding up Kratos's corpse.
Oh.
And he's spewing out the world serpent. So I think Atreus's big arc in this story is that, yes, he's slightly older, but I think he also understands that his father is going to die, but he keeps it from him. But then there's all that talk about, we don't have to follow fate's design. Fate can be whatever we choose. So, I mean, they did the same thing in the original God of War 2. Kratos is killed by Zeus at the very beginning of the game, fights his way out of Hades, fights his way all the way to the three sisters that determine fate, kills them, goes back in time and stops Zeus killing him. So, I mean, they could just do that. They could find a way to stop Kratos from dying, but probably still furthers along Ragnarok, which I think eventually is just going to lead to the death of all the Norse gods.
It would be kind of like a cool move, though, if they did kill Kratos off and then they're like, okay, now these games will continue with Atreus.
Yeah. I think that would be okay, but come on now.
I know. We don't.
Atreus isn't Atreus. Atreus isn't Atreus. Atreus isn't Kratos. He's not. He's a great character. He'll probably be really cool in this, and maybe you'll command him a little bit, but I'm sure he'll do really fun stuff on his own. But he's not Kratos.
Do you think they'll end the franchise?
I think they could. Yeah, I think they could end the franchise after that.
I'll be sad about it, but it has been a long run. Yeah. And I really don't see, unless they go into different gods after this, I just really don't see how they can top what they've done with the franchise so far.
I mean, they did tease when they go into Tyr's secret temple that there's all those other realms. Like they showed the Egyptian, like when they found the missing part of one of the shrines. One of the doors, the doors on those big shrines you can find that Atreus reads lore. It showed that Tyr had journeyed to different realms, one of which being Kratos' symbol, meaning he went to the Greek realm. Then there's the Norse realm. It showed the Egyptian hieroglyph.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, killing all of the Egyptian gods. That'd be pretty cool. Or maybe that's Atreus' journey.
Maybe. And that'd be like a different type of gameplay and all that stuff.
First-person shooter. And he's just pew pew.
Would you prefer that?
No.
Oh, okay.
That would be terrible.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
That would be so bad. Did that.
Now let's break down the trailer a little bit. I'm obviously going to jump a lot of places from the trailer. We don't have to go in order, but a lot happens in it.
Mm-hmm.
We see that the Norse god of war Tyr is alive.
Mm-hmm. They free him. He agrees to help them.
And we also see the Valkyries are coming back, but I think these are different Valkyries. I have a feeling this may be between the spirit realm.
Yeah, I don't know where that took place. It honestly, it kind of looked like where Doctor Strange confronted Dormammu.
Yes.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
That's just going on in the background.
Valkyries, I've come to bargain.
Yeah, I'm very wondering what's going on with that.
Although fighting two at once, that's interesting.
Oh, that's gonna be friggin'.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be tough. I wonder if they're gonna introduce some sort of co-op into this.
Maybe Atreus will just be smarter and better.
Yeah, I'm hoping they up his game a little bit.
I think they will. I think he's going to. It's going to be similar. He's going to probably be the one summoning those the things he was summoning. But they'll probably be way more efficient. He'll probably, if he summons a stag, he'll ride it or something, as opposed to just summoning it and it does a very generic thing and then goes away.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm also very curious about this Loki thing.
Yeah, I think that's part of what this is. I think this is him. I think that's exactly what it is. This is his journey to figure out who Loki is and what his purpose is. But along the way, they're accosted by the Norse gods because they started Ragnarok.
I'm wondering also if it's going to be a lot of Odin trying to recruit.
Well, I think the person they show that they put all in shadow that goes to his house, I think that is Odin. I think he's trying to convince him to not. Because Odin, they also said that Odin went through realms, so he'd know that Kratos killed all of the Greek gods. And Odin, in like at least in what I learned from Valhalla, Odin was all about prophecies, his fate, how to change Ragnarok or to prevent it. So of course he would go to other realms that he heard would get destroyed by whatever they, maybe they didn't call it Ragnarok, but maybe they called the decimation of all the gods something else in the Greek
maybe.
realm.
And we also found out that, like, technically, what's the guy's name? Belloc?
Belloc?
No, I'm thinking Belrog from the Lord of the Rings. Freya's son. Balder.
Yeah. Not Balder.
Okay. Wasn't there for Kratos. He was there for Atreus.
Yeah.
So I think Odin's going to try to recruit him. I think that's... And I think, I don't know if it's going to go the cliche storyline where, I don't know, Atreus might be like, I'm mad at my dad, and we might have him join Odin, and Odin might give him a different ability or something, and then he'll probably come back or something like that. Because apparently it seems like Atreus is on some sort of path, and he's like, he can't tell his father, though he knows his father doesn't believe him, but Kratos is like, I believe you, but I follow you. I don't believe it, but I follow you.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah, I think because we're getting the mirror of the last game where Atreus followed Kratos' whim no matter what. And now Kratos is like, okay, well, we did my last mission and you want to do this as you're getting older, then you tell me what to do and I'll follow even if I don't believe in this prophecy bullshit. Because why would he? He was able to change fate multiple times before in his life.
Yeah. And I'm going to let you say the line, but Atreus says, what if, like, I'm protecting you. And then Atreus goes, who's protecting you? And what does Kratos say?
Oh, well, at that part, he says, I don't need your protection. But after is when he says, death can have me when it earns me.
And it's such a good line.
Yeah, like, it's unbelievable.
And because the way that it's delivered, it's kind of like a chuckle in his voice too, being like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, death. Yeah,
Kratos has literally fought his way out of hell.
Yes.
Like, that's not a metaphor.
Multiple times, though, right?
He fought, yes, multiple times. He was killed and fought his way out of hell. Oh, actually, like twice in the original trilogy. And then when they went to Helheim, which is basically hell.
Yeah.
They fought their way out of hell.
And he's like, yep. No, he can have me. It's cool. I'm all right with dying, but he's got to earn it. Like, it's so good. There, and of course we see Freya and like
still don't really know what her angle is. Like, obviously she's probably still pissed off that you killed Balder, but maybe she'll come around and be helpful again, or maybe it's going to be like you fight her at the very beginning and she just dies.
Maybe. It looks like we get a new character too, unless that was Freya, because it looks like you're riding out of an area in trees and stuff and vines.
Seems like Alfheim, because it's the light elves were there.
Yeah, but like she has the ability to do all that tree stuff.
Yep.
But there's a woman on your back who kind of looks like Freya.
Yeah, there was another character in the initial reveal that showed it's like a young black girl.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what her character is. People are already being like, God of woke, because that person's supposed to be white, I guess. It's like, just shut up, dude.
Just play the fucking game.
Shut the
Who
fuck
cares
up.
at this point? Like, why be miserable about these stupid things?
I bet that character will be so minimal, it won't matter, and all that we'll care about is how fucking cool Kratos is.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have to top him fighting that dragon and it dying and it landing, like you being right in its open mouth when it lands dead. If they have to top that. That is the coolest thing in any video game.
The shots they had, the giant jellyfish that comes out of the ground, I was like, whoa. And we get, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is it Gary and Fricky Freki? I'm saying it wrong. The two wolves.
Oh, I don't know the two wolves. I thought one of them was Fenrir. Fenrir was.
Maybe I'm saying them
But you're
wrong.
right.
I
There were
looked them
two
up.
of them, so I wonder if there's like subordinate ones. Because Fenrir is basically the wolf that prophesized to aid in killing Odin for Ragnarok, and that's part of the story in Valhalla. Is when you play as Odin, you're trying to change that fate. So you go and you get this like unbreakable chain, and then you fight Fenrir, but you're able to like hold it down. But all it does is delay fate. That's all. So, and I was in the original teaser, they showed Fenrir, and I was like, oh shit, we're gonna fight it. And then I'm like, we have the same goal to take
Yeah, it
out
doesn't
Odin,
make
and
sense.
why wouldn't they team up with Fenrir?
It's probably you probably will fight it, and then it'll probably talk or something and be like, "Oh, we have the same goal." Like,
Yeah, it
but
could be.
that scene, we get like a sunset type scene, and
I'm
the
very
two
interested.
wolves.
Like, yeah, if someone knows Norse mythology, tell me what that is a metaphor for, because it's clearly some part of the lore is the sun being shot and those wolves bringing night. Like, that was such an amazing shot.
I think they're releasing this on PS4 as well. I know it was supposed to be exclusive, but I think because nobody can get a PS5, so I think it's become very difficult to do that. But like, I can't see how like this for a PS5. This is going to be graphically awesome. The graphics is going to be fucking
Kratos,
awesome.
I mean, God of War in 2018 looked fucking unbelievable.
Oh, it was
on PS4.
unbelievable, man. But when I replayed it on my PS5, there is a huge difference.
Yeah, there's a difference. Yeah.
It looks fucking phenomenal, and I know that this is just going to be so fucking good.
Yeah, I'm very hype. I mean, the last thing I think worth noting is the very ending scene where it shows Kratos, no boy, no blades of Kratos, blades of chaos, no Mimir, on like an icy lake fighting Thor, and just him throwing his axe and Thor throwing Mjolnir, and it just stopping each other because they're basically the same weapon type. Honestly.
And don't
and
they
then,
normally
like,
sometimes do in like RPGs, like ice and like lightning kind of like clash a little bit or something like that?
No, it's
Isn't
usually
that-
ice and fire. Earth, lightning, ice, fire. Usually.
Well, I mean, not weakness. Like they're kind of equal a little bit, like lightning and ice. Like they're kind of like they're not each other's weakness. So
yeah, I
it's
mean
just-
that would make sense. Yeah, and I do like the almost because they're basically supposed to be the same character. Thor and Kratos are supposed to be very similar, like the God of War, and like Thor is basically the God of War. He's the one that goes and fucking does Odin's bidding, basically killing whoever is needed.
Well, Tyr is the god of war, but he does things a little bit more diplomatically.
Yeah, because he's traveled multiple realms, yada yada. But I do like how Kratos, to summon the axe, just lifts his hand up while Thor has to snap to get the hammer back.
And that shot was awesome. I sent this to a friend of ours, Dan Sullivan, and also co-host of the podcast. Let's see that again. And he was like, I didn't know Fat Thor was in this.
I mean, I think what they're going for is just based off of what they've read in Norse mythology. Like Norse mythology, Thor just fights, fucks, and
oh yeah,
like eats and drinks all the time. Why wouldn't he be a fat fuck?
well, what's his name calls him like a fat fuck constantly. The head, what's the head's name?
Mimir.
He's just like, oh, that fat fuck. Like he just,
But I think it's gonna be like muscle. You know what I mean? Like when it's just gonna be.
Oh yeah,
He's gonna look fat, but he's also gonna be as powerful as Kratos.
yeah. I'm pumped about that. You're probably right what you said before. We're probably just gonna get introduction with him and Thor, and I think Thor is just gonna give him a warning at first, and just be like, hey, you need to leave.
Stop it.
Stop. You stop now.
I'll throw meow meow at you.
Meow meow. But that trailer is so good. Is there anything else we want to discuss in this trailer? Like I think we
mean,
broke down
We went pretty much. I mean, they show little snippets like, ooh, there's a mermaid. Ooh, there's a frog type thing. Ooh, there's a guy that looks like a fucking ring wraith from Lord of the Rings. Oh. Oh, he's doing like web swinging with his blades.
Yeah, that's cool. I really like that you're not really gonna have to really aim. You can
I think you'll probably have to aim a little.
Yeah.
But you'll see like, little fucking commands or kind of thing. Like, oh, you can zip to this thing.
But they're definitely being a little like quiet about what other abilities you're gonna get because they're there's no way it's gonna be exactly the same. I know they're probably gonna be like, you could still do these basic things, but here's some newer shit you're gonna be able to do.
Yeah, I hope what they do is they take the existing things you unlocked in the first one, but then they build upon them. So like a good example was in Spider-Man that came out in 2018. When you're playing as Peter Parker, you have to unlock all of the advanced abilities and like the coolest things you can do. Miles Morales' game, he starts with that stuff and then you build on it from there. And it makes sense story-wise because Peter trained Miles, so why wouldn't he train them on that stuff?
Why would
too?
You have to start from square one?
Why would you have to start from square one and learn how to, swing and roll and, keep your momentum? Why Peter would have trained him?
Don't do what like Kingdom Hearts does and every new one's like, you've lost all your powers.
You went into the castle of memory forgetness. You now know nothing and are level 1. What's level 1, Goofy? Gosh, I don't know.
I don't remember either.
I'm a fucking dog. I think he healed you, Sora, even though we're not in battle.
I think Donald's having a stroke.
He's casting Firaga. Oh, no, he's having a seizure. Gosh.
I used to like those games, but that third one really sucked.
Yeah.
The fourth one looks interesting, but...
Oh, there's a fourth.
Yeah,
oh, Lord.
He's in current times, and there's a city. It's like...
Is it going to be like Super Mario
yes, it's like
Odyssey?
Yeah, it reminds me of Super Mario Odyssey, but it's like
just
Sora.
Real people. Oh, God, what the fuck's wrong with that thing? He looks like what's wrong with his feet? They're fucking huge.
He's got zippers all over his body.
So many zippers.
What's in your pockets? Oh, these aren't pockets. They're just zippers. So fucked up. But I think that,
that ends our discussion on Thor Ragnarok.
Now it's down to brass tacks, baby. We're talking Resident Evil Extinction.
Mm-hmm. Let's give you a little summary of this sumbitch. Here's the plot synopsis, just so you know where we're at.
I wish, you know what? I wish I had a little beat for you to like...
Captured by the Umbrella Corp. No, I'm not doing that. Captured by the Umbrella Corporation, Alice, played by Mila Jovovich, receives genetic alterations that leave her with superhuman abilities. Hiding out in the Nevada desert, she joins forces with former cohorts. Carlos, played by Oded Fair, and LJ, played by Mike Epps.
Boo.
Yeah, he's fucking horrible. As well as new survivors, Claire, played by Ali Larder from Heroes, and Kmart, Spencer Locke. What a dumb name.
I was found in a Kmart, but
Oh, Nurse Betty was Ashanti. I didn't even realize that. Well, she did now. To eradicate the virus that threatens to turn every human on Earth into a zombie.
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 The movie was released on September 21st, 2007. Was directed by Russell Malashi, this is the first one, I believe, that was not directed by Paul W.S. Anderson.
But he wrote and produced it. Which
version of the script? This script was so, rewritten so many times.
Yeah, they also took out stuff that would have made some of the characters better, because it would have made them more accurate to their video game counterparts. But, of course, they didn't do that.
Oh, why?
Why would they make these characters similar to what we already love?
And they just, Mila wasn't even going to, do it. And then she read the script and was like, I like the script. And then they're like, okay,
there's more of me in it.
We're going to change, all of it. And the box office for this was $147.7 million.
You know what that means? we're getting another sequel.
We're getting another 2 or 3. What is
Oh
it?
my
2 or
God.
3 more?
I think it's because when I was looking it up on Amazon to rent after I realized no one wants this movie on their streaming service.
Nobody.
Yeah, I saw one on Amazon that's all 6 movies, and I'm like, there's 6. Oh no!
We're doing one every Halloween. Let's see if we make it to 6, Josh.
I mean, I might not even be alive by 6.
The budget for this movie was $45 million, so they did make it back. But boy,
What a stinker!
There were some things that I enjoyed. There was a couple nice shots. There was a really good shot where a zombie got shot in the head and a hole was in its head and the blood just splattered on the camera. I thought that was really good. Very Sam Raimi.
Yeah. They went back to formula. I know in the first one they were more into the practical effects for the zombies and zombie dogs, etc., and really held back on the CGI only for the stuff they couldn't do practically. In this one, it seems like they went back to that because I know the second one was way too much CGI and it was so dumb looking. This one, most of the zombies and stuff were all practical. The zombie dogs went back to being practical. Even the tyrant at the end.
Kinda. Because when the zombie dogs' heads were through the cages, they looked like terrible CGI. But when they showed them from above, it was clearly dogs wearing like a
meat suit.
A meat suit, like strap on. And they obviously didn't want it on their heads.
And by strap on, he does not mean meat dicks.
Red Rocket strap
on. They had their own Red Rockets, yes.
And it's funny you mentioned what was it, Ali Lauder?
Yeah. From
Heroes. I actually thought she was Bridget Wilson, who played Sonya Blade.
No, that's not her.
But then I was like, oh wait, and I looked it up. I'm like, is that Bridget Wilson? No, but Lyndon Ashby is in this as Chase the cowboy. Who played Johnny Cage.
Oh, okay.
I was like, why does he look so familiar? And
I thought it was just not Matthew McConaughey. That's who
that's maybe
I saw that guy and I was like, oh, he's the guy from Texas who's just like, all right, I'll kill some zombies. All right.
So the way this movie opens up is, it opens up almost exactly like the original film.
Getting a fake out.
No Bush though this time.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And what it seems like is Dr. Isaacs I kind of forget what happened at the end of 2.
Alice and them all infiltrated a umbrella facility, and it just showed her using her powers to overcome security.
But then I remember she passes out or something, and then she's naked and fights a bunch of people and makes everybody's eyes bleed or something. I forgot about that.
Because that was them breaking her out of the facility, but they already had her blood at that point. And Jorah Mormont, Dr. Isaacs, he mentions, well, we have her blood so we can make more Khaleesi's.
Okay. And what it seems like they're trying to find the perfect copy of Alice to...
Well, yeah, because we get a fake out of her being killed and we're like, oh, hell yeah, this movie's ending super quick.
Yeah, I was spoiled on that this was going to have clones in it because I was looking up trivia before I watched the movie because I didn't care about being spoiled at all about this. Because the second one was dog shit. I will say that, like Josh said, more use of practical effects in this, I will say, made this a little bit more tolerable to watch, which isn't saying much. But the second one, I rolled my eyes a lot because I remember that CGI just really being crammed in there.
I just remember the Nemesis looking fucking bad,
fucking awful.
Bad garbage, dude. He just looked like shit, and I hated it, and I wanted to fucking punch everybody involved in the movie.
And by the way, Mike Epps was in that.
Yeah, he was the one where he's driving around hitting zombies in a car, going GTA motherfucker.
Yeah,
10 points.
And they don't even do him. I don't even remember if him and Mila's character
Yeah, he's
nodded at each other. Said, I know.
They were in scenes together. He was part of the group of people along with Carlos, because Jill was in that movie, and
so Carlos was in the second one.
Yeah, Carlos was in the second one.
Because I'm like, oh, do they know each other? Again, there was so much shit in this that if you didn't pay attention, I went back a couple of times that they quickly brushed over, and I was like, I think he's in the second one.
Yeah, Carlos was in the second one. They introduced Jill in the second one.
played by Oded Fair from The Mummy.
No, Jill was not played by Oded Fair.
No, Carlos was.
played by,
That's what I said. Carlos was
yeah.
played by Oded.
I didn't even put together that was the guy from The Mummy.
He's also the guy from Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo.
Oh.
Hey, fishy, fishy, fishy.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Well, not interesting. That doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
But wow, that's a fact. I won't call it fun, but I'll call it a fact.
But I thought it was, honestly, he was like one of the only other actors who seemed to know how to act, because a lot of the acting in this was pretty bad. Nurse Betty was
he's not a good
awful.
Carlos though. He's not a great Carlos.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the character, but I assume Carlos has a Spanish accent.
Yeah, I think he's. I believe he's a Colombian mercenary
and this
that works for Umbrella. Umbrella's biohazard attack squad, or basically biohazard cleanup crew. Yeah.
I gotta play the third one. So what this movie pretty much sets up, again, we get the same, like, first we get this thing about the Alice's. There's probably, like, I think there's 10 minutes of this movie has no dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out about the clones, and then we get from the same from every movie, Alice saying, like,
the
narration.
Alice monologue. Let me get you up to speed. I'm Alice.
Because I'm surprised the summary hasn't even really told you everything. It's like, oh, the virus doesn't just affect humans and animals, it affects the environment, and oceans have dried up. But they say all this, but then we're in the desert anyway. Like, yeah. I was like, well, why?
Well, it's really bad desert, because now Las Vegas is a desert, even more desert.
It hasn't kept the sand at bay. It's like, why didn't they just have it like in a desert place that used to be an ocean? Instead of doing this whole shit being like all the oceans have dried up, all the lakes.
Well, because it's probably way cheaper to just film in a desert.
Oh, I guess. From what I read is that the director was like, okay, this one will be different. We won't film at night. We're going to film during the day in the desert. It was so hot. It was 130 degrees that they had to keep switching out new cameramen and film crew because they kept passing out from how hot it was.
Of course.
And did you notice, man, that Mila seemed to be the only one not really sweating as much as everybody? And
Mila Jovovich had perfect, like, makeup on the entire movie.
She had CGI airbrush.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, it was hard not to notice that we're supposed to believe that these people have been surviving for, they said years. Someone said years at one point.
And she's got lipstick on.
She is perfect. All of their teeth are perfectly white, except for the weird fucking people that attack her at the beginning of the game. The movie. Like, they are the only people, and the only reason they did that is because we want as the audience to know, oh, they're bad people. Their teeth are bad, their skin's bad, their clothes are bad.
Oh, and you know when they sound like this, they're gonna be bad.
Get them, Ma! Yeah, it's very dumb. But yes, like what you said, I noticed it immediately. Yeah. She was just dressed to the nines.
Gorgeous, the whole
looked great. Even while she slept. Like, ooh, damn.
When Kmart was watching her, I'm like, yeah, I made you a slap bracelet.
That's basically what it was. Why is your name Kmart? Because they found me in a Kmart.
Oh my God.
And I don't like my old name. All right, well, you're dead. No one cares about you.
There's just so many choices that they made in this, and you could tell that these people seem to just stay in one place, and it just seems like the script. I felt like I was watching like 3 movies in one. There were so many different things. So apparently Dr. Isaac's looking for Alice, but doesn't know where she is. But then we find out later he's got like a camera in her. What is that?
Yeah, it's because they experimented on her, so they had some link to her. But like she even mentioned, because I guess she had a watch that can show where they're pinpointing or the satellites are. I don't know. She said she was able to stay under the radar. It's like, what are you talking about?
But because she used her abilities.
Yeah, that's true. They're like, The beta and theta levels have spiked. It's like,
The White Queen, is that who that's supposed
whatever
to
that
be?
stupid British girl's name is.
Yeah.
I am a computer. But now I look like a child who's very airbrushed.
Yeah.
And I glow.
It was so stupid.
Yeah, you're right. There were multiple like subplots. Like, so we have like the Alice subplot of like, I'm alone, but maybe I'll join up with these other survivors. And then they're just like, we gotta keep surviving because we have a whole convoy. And then there's Jorah Mormont's plan of like, well, I have to create the perfect Alice clone / I'm gonna rip off Day of the Dead's plot where I try to domesticate zombies. They literally do the same scene from Day of the Dead, George Romero's Day of the Dead, where the zombie, he's been training him and he picks up a telephone like, huh? And then they do the same thing, but they hand him a cell phone and he's like, huh? Cell phone?
Well, the director, Muscle McCahey, I don't know. Russell.
Oh.
Russell.
Muscle Man McCahey.
McCahey, whatever the fuck his name is, was questioned about that, and he said he did that as a nod to Day of the Dead.
Yeah, well, he probably had to say that, or they'll be like, yeah, you can't just rip off shit from other movies.
Yeah, that zombie, though, gets pissed once he tries to put the triangle in the hole, and it just...
The triangle don't work!
Oh, no, I told you not to give him the triangle. But we find out that, like, Dr. Isaacs is like, he pretty much did it, and then was like, nah, I need these guys to be aggressive to fight Alice. And he did what he was supposed to do, but he was just like, nah, I want Alice. I don't know what his plan is for Alice. Like, he just is obsessed with changing the future with her blood. Like,
because when Mila Jovovich finally gets to the facility at the end, which has been destroyed because Jorah went full tyrant, she talks to the whatever you want to call the computer bitch, and says that with your blood we can create an antivirus, like a perfect one that will stop all this shit. And that's the reason I can think of why he would want to clone her and get a perfect clone of her so that they can use their blood to try to create an antivirus.
But I don't think he cares about
or a vaccine.
It seems like he wants to rule. And also, you brought up the facility and stuff. But Josh, how did we know when we were going into the facility every time we were going into a facility scene?
Because it played the same song over and over again.
Well, also, what did they show every time we went to the facility? We get like this 1990s type like screensaver looking thing that would be a computer that who's looking at, and it would be like a blueprint looking thing, and it would constantly show the facility in this Tron grid looking thing.
Oh, yeah, like a computer, and it would always show like an elevator going down or something, like, or two people's like heat signature walking through like a fucking corridor.
Every time.
It's pointless.
It was like, okay, and then be like, look, now we're gonna transition from it being that to real. Cool, huh?
Oh my God, it's Kmart Wesker. He's leading the facility, but he's also a hologram. More like Caldor fucking Wesker. Like, honestly, Wesker's mannerisms were okay, but that guy was not a good pick to play Wesker.
Well, they didn't even, like, give him much at all. Like,
no.
Like, to do, like, and speaking of that, all these main characters, this is just like, they're like, nope, this franchise is about Alice. And we got Claire. But Claire,
she's just trying to help.
Nothing about Chris.
She's just trying to help survivors. Like, Claire's story throughout the entire series, pretty much until after, I think, the 5th game, is she's looking for Chris. She goes to Raccoon City in the 2nd one because she hears Chris is going on vacation randomly, and she's like, well, that's not right. That's not right. He doesn't do that. He doesn't go on vacation for fucking 2 months to Europe for some reason. So she goes to investigate, and she finds what happens in Raccoon City and fights her way out. And then when she leaves, I gotta go find Chris, and that leads into Code Veronica, where she goes to the facility in Europe, infiltrates it to find out where Chris is. But she gets captured, put on the island where Code Veronica X takes place, is able to send out a beacon to Leon, who she's in contact with, and then Leon helps. Oh! I'm breaking stuff. I'm just being too Italian, like waving my hands around.
Oh, keep kicking this dude.
Leon actually is able to get in touch with Chris, and then Chris gets to the base after Claire's already escaped. Then you go and you rescue Claire from the Antarctic base. So they reunite there. But then after that, Chris joins the BSAA, the what is it, Biohazard something task, whatever.
Bullshit ass.
Yeah, BSAA, whatever. People who know Resident Evil know what BSAA is. And he's fighting bioweapons, and then she joins an organization that's against bioweapon research and going after companies that, aid it. So, yeah.
But that's
not what we. So that long rant I just gave you about Claire's main focus being finding Chris.
She doesn't even look like Claire. She looks like Jill from Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, Ellie Larder is okay of an actress. She was good in the Final Destination movies. She was good in Heroes. There was some movie where she was like a jaded ex. Like, I don't fucking know. She was fine in that. But she's not Claire Redfield. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Didn't like her. Didn't even, whatever.
Well, again, she wasn't even like she was barely a character.
Yeah.
Even though we heard her name like at least 18 times in the first 45 minutes of the movie, because they kept putting that thing being like, there is a convoy from Claire Redfield. Like,
the least she could have done was reference anything that happened in Raccoon City. Like, oh, I wonder how Sherry's doing now. Or, oh, I wonder if I'll ever see Leon again. Anything.
But no, people actually thought Leon was going to be in this.
He probably should have been.
But
it wouldn't have made sense. Like, oh, I went to the desert too. Look at us. We're all in the desert.
But again, like none of this, because I don't think they go. Do they ever go in the desert in the franchise?
No.
Like the video game? No. Okay. I was wondering that too. I guess I have a question for you though on that. Like, so as somebody that is a huge fan,
I hated this movie. Oh, is that not the question?
Well, it's close to it, but like, how do you feel that the movie franchise keeps like taking these characters and just shoehorning them in, like,
misusing them.
Yeah, being like, oh, this woman could have been anyone else, but she's Claire Redfield.
No, this franchise sets the precedent for all other video game adaptations, that as long as you just say the people's names, you don't have to stick to their video game storylines, because these movies make hundreds of millions of dollars on a short budget. So fuck you, people that actually like these video games, that we're making these movies for a general audience. And I can get that. I can get behind that. But it would be so easy to just build up these characters a little more, link them, tie them to the lore that people know
and love,
even a little bit, just a little bit, a reference, something. Not Claire is just the fucking person that runs a convoy of survivors. What does it have to, and we're gonna go to Alaska now. Okay. What? Why?
Why are we going to Alaska?
There's no infected there. I bet there will be.
Yeah. There was a lot really hard for me to follow a lot of things. I didn't really understand why they were going to go to Alaska. Claire was pissed, then she was into it. And it was just,
they were going to go to Alaska because Alice found a journal in a gas station that said Alaska is safe. That's it. So all of those survivors agreed, let's go all the way across multiple fucking continents to get to Alaska.
Okay, so that wasn't her journal.
No, there was a dead lady hanging there. It was full of flies for some reason, CGI flies.
I must admit, like, again, you look down for a moment to write notes, and you miss shit. I was like, okay, is this her book? Why is she reading her own diary every day?
I can't believe I wrote that.
Like, I'm like,
when was I in Alaska?
I even thought maybe she was also a clone. that escape. You know, maybe there was a script that was that, you know?
Maybe. Hopefully not, though.
We mentioned that she has abilities, and I noticed
they're all over the place.
They're all over the place. Like, she's got some sort of psychic abilities, kind of like
psychokinesis.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she was able to create the girl from Fantastic Four. Like, she's creating like barriers kind of thing at one point.
I was thinking like, well, you don't watch Stranger Things, which is messed up because I think they ripped this movie off in season 4 of Stranger Things. So in season 4 of Stranger Things, Elle, as always, has telekinetic abilities. Number 11, what they call her. Telekinetic. And she fights a monster that looks just like what Dr. Isaacs turns into in this. Tentacle fingers, and it's like the battle is almost the same. And I was like, wait a minute. They must have done it better because everyone loves season 4 of Stranger Things, which I did too, but it was like the same thing. It was messed up. But the CGI, whenever they used it, was terrible. That flamethrower shield thing in the sky exploding with all the crows was awful. It was awful. And you could tell the way it was filmed. They're like, this is awesome.
Be like, sir, you're gonna win the Oscar. I know. Oh, wait, we didn't win any. We didn't even get nominated. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Our composer doesn't know how to compose this movie and quit halfway through the movie. That happened. They were just like, yeah, nah.
Like, I'm good.
I'm good. Like, and
I got to about the crow part, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
That's why I'm wondering. A lot of the music in this sounded like stock footage.
And every time they used the same song like several times.
Oh, yeah.
Though there's one song that they composed specifically for this movie, and it did sound like something you'd hear on like a later Resident Evil game, but they used it like 5 or 6 times. Mostly every time they would go to the facility and show it, it would always play. And yeah, it got a little old.
Well, there was a song that they used for the first trailer when it came out. It's called it is called The Crystal Methods. Well, I fucked it up.
By the Crystal Methods.
By the Crystal Methods. It's called I Know It's You, and Mila Jovovich, which I always have trouble saying her last name, provides the vocals of the wailing for the song.
Of course,
which was released 3 years earlier. She's like, you're going to use this song.
Why wouldn't she?
Yeah.
What a narcissist that bitch is.
She definitely put a lot of things in this to make sure that she made her money, because even her clothing line was like involved in this.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
For a movie she almost dropped out of. Though, you know, they just threw money at her, so.
And her husband's like, come on, please. Can you just do this movie for me? I'll give you money.
Money. Now, I was looking at like trivia stuff, and I saw, and I don't know, is this supposed to be someone from the franchise? Originally in the script, Kmart's real name was supposed to be Elizabeth Jane Case.
I have no clue. That's not unless that's in like one of those like Operation Raccoon City games or something that really aren't tied to the bigger story.
The lore or anything like that.
I mean, they're tied to lore, but it's not like the bigger story. That's not a name I recognize.
Yeah, I had no clue about it anyway, but I was like, oh yeah, when Kmart showed up, I'm like, is she supposed to be a certain character? You know, I think she's in love with Alice. I think she's got a crush on Alice. So I was sensing some like she was like, ooh.
Yeah, I just think the acting was so bad I didn't catch on that either.
And
like, there's all these like worthless characters that you're just like,
what? Worthless? Come on, Otto. The guy who has the ability to shake an empty can, not an empty can, a full can, and tell you what's in it.
Yeah, I think he was just lying.
He's like, oh, that comes out of some sort of beans, some sort of fruit. And like the kid's like, how do you know that? He's like, you know, it's just something I picked up. It's like, you're not cool, man.
Good thing he died. He looked like one of the guys from like Jackass.
He did.
Yeah, he looked like And he looked like the one who in the trailer for the new one where they have him tied up, covered in honey, and a bear walks in. Is that the same guy?
Let me see. Joe...
I don't think it is. It's probably like his fucking dumb brother who's like, I don't want to be in Jackass. I'm a real actor.
He was played by Joe Hursley. And he actually looks very familiar. I don't know anything. He's in a movie called Balls to the Wall.
Oh boy.
He might just look familiar because I just saw this fucking movie. Yeah, I don't know. Accepted. I guess I've seen that movie.
Okay.
Oh, he is in Fast and Furious.
Oh boy.
So, Fast and Furious ampersand, which is the fourth one. So he's somebody in that movie, but probably nobody important.
Civilian who gets run over by car. I did it.
Someone that Dominic Toretto says family to.
Family. Is that almost meme worthy? Like Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Family.
Now, there was a lot of things in this that I was like, one, cliche and stupid things that I was like, what? This makes no sense. Like Mike Epps, the classic someone's bit, but they're not going to tell anyone, who also obviously has sex with Nurse Betty, who, like...
That's actually how Ashanti died in real life, is she had sex with Mike Epps and got the T-virus.
Well, she actually had kind of a cool death. She sacrificed herself to the crows. I thought the crow shit was kind of cool, except it was
because it was pretty brutal. Yeah, it was that thing where they kind of cover the face, but there's still a lot of like weird, gross noises where they're just eating people's face and shit.
Yeah, and I gotta say, they only used 2 crows, and it didn't look that bad. It didn't look too bad for like the amount of crows that they say is there, but it was pretty good. But Mike Epps just sucked. Like he had
a gold gun. I don't remember that from the second one.
And he hit a joint for Carlos later.
Yeah, I don't get how Mike Epps got bit, and then like 2 or 3 days pass before he turns. But then Carlos gets bit, and like within an hour he's turning.
Yeah, well, they did this in the last one. It was like some people get bit and they immediately turn, and then some don't. And also we're learning that the one, Carlos got bit by the one that had enhanced Alice genes, so that they were turning quicker. Remember they were saying shit like that.
I believe you.
And the antivirus isn't helping.
Fuck you, Norton, with your goddamn shitty antivirus.
Oh, by the way, it was like a Mike Epps, we talked about a little earlier, was bitten by a zombie with a titty hanging out.
Zombie titty.
I also wanted to share with you, Josh, there was a scene in that movie that I thought was ridiculous, and I pulled it up.
Just one?
There was a couple, but this, I was like, they added this for comic effect, but it was terrible. And it's a scene between Mike Epps and Lyndon Ashby, who plays Chase.
Hey, all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Pork and beans, man, they lethal. I don't see how you cowboys do it.
Years of practice.
Years of practice of eating pork and beans. Like, I was waiting for Weezer's, like, what's that song? Pork and Beans to start playing. Doom, 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 doom. I was like, okay, so as a cowboy, you have to train to eat pork and beans.
No, I just think because pork and beans is like the can that cowboys would eat around the campfire. Like, I think that's all it's saying.
It's like
that's their preferred beans and pork sitting around a fire in a cowboy.
But you need practice for it.
Well, because it explodes your asshole, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta train your belly to not make it explode on the inside.
I'm basically sitting on a gap the size of a saucer plate.
Yeah, the dialogue between the people didn't make sense. It was so clear who was gonna get murdered every time. Like I was like, oh, we haven't seen that person. That person
hasn't had a line yet. They're dead. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I watched this with my 14-year-old niece, and she was getting so mad at me because I was commentating on it, and she loved this movie.
Well,
She
kids are
loved
stupid,
it.
so
She thought like Mila's character was so cool. She liked how like she used the swords and all this stuff. And I was just like, I kind of stopped like with the commentary and just left it for the notes because I was like, oh, she's actually enjoying this movie, and I don't want to upset her. Like,
that's why this movie made 150 million. It's because it's not for us that are super critical about it. It's for people that are just,
Yeah.
younger, looking for like, it's probably a movie series my parents would like. They really like that new Resident Evil show.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, it's not made for me.
But like, I feel like, and again, this happened with like Monster Hunter. I feel like these movies aren't Resident Evil movies. They're Mila Jovovich movies.
Are you going to say her name differently
No,
every time you say...
Jovova.
It's not Mila Jehovah's Witness-vich.
I said Joe. All right,
Mila
you know what?
Jovovich.
Mila
Jovovich.
Jovovich. Mila
Yeah.
Jovovich. Okay,
Yes.
there we go. But I'm gonna say it again. Whatever you heard, I don't need to say it again because I said it. These are Mila Jovovich movies.
He's fucked it. Jovovich.
It's the Mila movies. That's all I'm gonna say. That you go to see her because her character, who's not even in the franchise, like that's what they focus on. Like, she has nothing to do with the franchise, but she overshadows characters that they bring in.
Yeah, they gave her the red dress, and it's like, see, she's kind of like Ada, but she's not Ada.
Well,
we'll introduce Ada.
They were going to introduce her as a different name in this too, as Janice Prospero. Is that another character?
No,
Like,
it's not.
So why in these different scripts are they bringing in like different? We're gonna name them this. I saw this on the back of a receipt. This name, that would be a cool name to have Alice as a real name.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they didn't add more bullshit to this. Because I know there was a subplot where... There's a subplot that made sense in one of the scripts where Claire was trying to find Chris. That's very Claire. Why couldn't you have said that she was traveling and she could have had this convoy of survivors and been going cross country because she was trying to find Chris?
Yeah, I think they scrapped
They could have
that
found
last minute.
Chris's journal that told them that fucking Alaska had no zombies.
I didn't even think of that. That would make more sense.
Even if they don't show Chris in the movie, they could have said those things, which would have made way more sense to the lore and would have been easy. Instead of, it's a random gas station in Nevada with a lady who hung herself, and her journal has all of this stuff about Alaska's no zombies, no infection. How the fuck would you know? Chris would know.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was supposed to be, but then they just
change it.
There were so many, like when I was looking through trivia and I didn't even put them all in here, there was so many that said this was supposed to be in the movie, but then a script change. And then this was supposed to be in the movie and then a script change. And it just, when you break down this movie could have been 30 minutes because the main point at the end of the movie was everybody that's introduced flies away and it's just back to Dr. Isaacs versus Alice and we get clones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So ultimately, they get to Las Vegas, which they've said we need to avoid at all costs. They need to fuel up before they make the cross-country trip to Alaska with all the survivors and their multiple vehicles. They get to Las Vegas, and for some reason, there's hundreds of zombies in a small container that attack and kill mostly everyone. And then they find out that, Jorah Mormont and his crew are really close for some reason because they're taking control of Alice, but she's so powerful. She was able to telekinesis the microchip off the satellite in space. And then
Oh wait, I have a sound for that.
Yeah. Yeah, but Jorah gets bit, and then he takes the antivirus, and no, don't matter. Now I'm a tyrant that has tentacle.
And they're like, "You've been
Porn
uncalled.
powers.
This is uncalled for. You're fired." And even though I know about zombies, I'm just gonna shoot you in the chest.
Yeah. So he becomes a tyrant, and I'll say that the practical effects looked okay
Until his hands started doing
until he
stuff.
started speaking full sentences. You can't kill me, Alice. I am inevitable. He didn't say that.
you were going to be the savior, but I am Khaleesi.
Alice, you are my Khaleesi. He turned into a stone man. Nice.
And it just... So in a movie, when you decide to use CGI mildly and like you do the practical effects, but then at the end of the movie you decide to really fucking lean into the CGI, it looks awful. Those Alice bubbles with the clone Alices looked awful. It looked like a cutscene for a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, it looked really bad, and I mean, pretty much Alice goes into the laser hallway.
Oh, they brought that back. They hinted that.
Had to bring it back.
Made sure you saw it at the end. I mean, at the beginning. And of course, the guy that set this laser room up, well, that being all jacked up on the antivirus made him forget. Well, the White Queen did lock me in here, but she wouldn't set off the lasers. Boo.
No, she didn't. The clone Alice did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, it's still stupid. And, oh, God, he died. Okay, can we see the pile of parts? No. Oh, okay. We're going to see it on a surveillance screen. Okay.
Yeah, well, I thought they were going to kill her off, and then the clone would take over.
The hardest I laughed was the very ending shot of the movie. And it was just because of something I came up with in my own head, where she turns to the clone and she's like, oh no, she's talking to like Wesker and them hologram style and is like, "We're coming for you." And then it turns and the clone comes on screen and then you can see all the other clones. And I would laugh so hard because all I could think of was like the beginning of that Shania Twain song, like, "Let's go, girls." And then you just hear like, going out tonight, and just all the clones like
putting on red dresses.
It's something about being an Alice clone. It's their prerogative to have telekinesis powers.
Oh, I got 2 knives.
2 machetes.
Like they were like, you know why she got those 2 knives? Because again, I guess like she goes for the movie, like she goes for weapons training, and her weapons trainer was like, "You're really good with these weird looking bent knives. You should add it to the movie." And
because you'd really want to get that close to zombies, because if you got bit once, you're just dead.
You have telekinesis, just blow them all up. You can crush a chip in space. You can kill all these zombies.
Yeah, but it hurts her head when she does it.
I get a migraine and
owie. Oh, I'm better.
Motrin's not around right now.
I'm running out of Motrin. It's been 3 years since I had Motrin.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this was kind of a slog. My niece kept getting mad that I had to keep pausing it and just step away for a moment. I you know what I like? You know what, I'm looking at my notes too. Like, this movie totally takes the fucking, with almost every character, they did the cliche walking into a room and being like, what's Wesker's last name? Being like,
Wesker is his last name.
Oh, just
his name's Albert Wesker.
Like walking, Albert Wesker, if I live and breathe, and then
by I live and breathe, Albert Wesker,
Dr. Isaacs, and then even later, is that you got any smokes, Claire Redfield? Like, just every.
What about you, Carlos? You got anything else to smoke? I don't know. What about you, Kmart? I don't know. Well, how about you, Ashanti? I mean,
Betty. Because usually when you walk into a room, it don't go just like, "Hey, Joshua Edgington. Nice
I live and breathe.
By I live and breathe.
Andrew Gonzalez, you son of a bitch."
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's like so fucking. And then the joint thing, I did thought was kind of funny because Carlos, when he smoked it, he made like stoner eyes as the zombies were like attacking.
I'm instantly high because that's how weed works.
I need to smoke this joint to set off the bomb instead of just.
No, he lit it and then hit the joint.
Oh, okay.
He didn't have to hit the joint. He just wanted to. I want to go up in smoke. I wish he had said that. Oh, I just thought of that.
My favorite movie is Cheech and Chong. Up in smoke. Boom.
Yeah, because he sacrifices himself to
and then you
take out
just see Cheech Ramirez and being like,
and he's playing one of his characters From Dusk Till Dawn, where he's like, "We got zombie pussy, red pussy, yellow pussy."
I forgot he was in that fucking movie. He's like at the very end, right?
No, he's like 4 people in that movie. Cheech Marin plays the Border Patrol guy. He plays the guy outside the titty twister who's like announcing everything in there. He plays the guy that George Clooney's character is supposed to be meeting in that place.
Yeah, that's who I remember him as at the end. I think that's maybe when he's not in disguise.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought it was a good place.
He plays like 3 or 4 different characters in that movie.
What a great movie.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's so good.
Plus, I mean, Selma Hayek
eating
a stripper is just, oh boy.
She's the fucking best. The best. But not in she's in Eternals, right?
Barely.
Yeah. We don't need to get into that. By the way, I wanted to mention that helicopter. You can't fly that many people in a helicopter.
Oh, you noticed that too? I was like, okay, well, good thing they killed the majority of the people. So there's like, I don't know, 4 people left. They're like, all right, we got 14 people in this very lightweight helicopter. It's like, no, that's not going to fly. Or it'll fly, but it'll fly slowly, and you will make it nowhere.
You'll be low to the ground.
You will make it nowhere as near as far as you think you could have made it with car. Because all you need is 1 car now. You don't need the whole convoy.
She's like, you're going to fly. Why didn't you shoot that plane, says Kmart. Because we're not going to drive to Alaska.
I believe I can fly. Ooh, I believe I can touch this guy.
I think about it every night and day. It's funny that you're singing that because I was walking my dog the other day and I was walking by a park.
And you saw that R. Kelly was charged with like child pornography and shit.
Was
he's going away. Yeah.
R. Kelly sings that? I thought it was Seal who does.
Yeah, Seal, R. Kelly, same thing. No, you're right.
I was like, I thought that was Seal, but a little kid was singing that song, and I was like, I wonder if he's watched Batman Forever.
I thought
no,
that was Space Jam. Wasn't
it was. I'm thinking of Kiss by a Rose on her head.
Where did heaven tell you so much you can live? You remain my power, my pleasure, my pain, baby.
Andrew,
to me, you're like a...
Find a karaoke version of that and input.
PAX East a couple years ago, me, Lauren, Dave, Noel, Avery, we went to the after party, which was like this bar with apps, and there was fucking arcades everywhere on free play, and we just started singing that song, belting it out, and we got a shitload of people to sing along with us.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. That is like... Because our generation, we know that from Batman Forever. Don't they play a music video of that before the movie starts on VHS?
I don't know if they play a music video.
Or maybe it was just on MTV all the time.
Yeah, I think it was on MTV because, like, if I went to the theater to see that and I'm like, why am I watching this music video before fucking
kids would riot. Batman!
I want the Batman!
I'm looking at my notes here. I don't know if you have anything else. I noticed that Dr. Isaacs, when he becomes mutated, becomes an artist and like sticks all the doctors and on spikes.
Yeah, he gets very creative.
Very like he took the time to be like, okay, let me just put this one here.
He's like looking. He's like, no, maybe at this angle. Oh, that looks good.
I'll shut the light off, too. It really adds to the glistening blood from their tummy.
From their tum-tums.
Tum-tums. But yeah,
No, I have nothing else to add about this movie. I feel like somehow we talked more than I thought we could have about this movie. because it is, like you said, it's boring. But if you have no connection, I mean, because we have the proof. Your niece loved the movie. She loved the strong female characters, and there was some scares, some very obvious jump scares, but they still get people.
Yeah, and
Not for me.
it wasn't for me either. But I will say, though, I did enjoy this more than the second one.
Yes.
And that is not saying much.
Yeah. The second one was like dumpster garbage, and this was just like, garbage in your house. That's all.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, I think that finishes up our discussion of Resident Evil Extinction.
Extension? Resident Evil Extinction on your mortgage payment.
Oh, God. Let's just get to the goddamn scores.
All right. Let's jump into it. So, this is the first one we're so used to. How fucking cheesy was this goddamn movie? I'm gonna say this is probably a 5.5 out of 10 for the cheesy movie. It has those, like, we got the guy that got bit and he ain't gonna tell nobody. It's like, oh, we got the characters that have no lines or barely any lines who are canon fodder. We have cliche representation of things that happened in other more popular horror movies. It's 5.5 out of 10.
I agree with
Final
that.
answer.
I'm going to top it off a little bit with a 6 because they really wanted to lean into the gore in this, and I did appreciate some of the gore angles they did for this. It was cheesy gore, and I love that shit. Like it
wouldn't have been as cheesy if they didn't do that shot through the bullet hole in the head
But
thing.
I like
they did it like
that.
4 times.
They did do it a lot.
Oh,
And-
it's with a shotgun. Oh, it's with a handgun. Oh, it's with another gun. It's like, okay, how about you do it once and that's cool.
It was just weird that they decided to go brutal at some points, and then other points they were like, cut away.
Yeah, we won't show this fully.
We won't show this fully. But I did appreciate the cheesiness of some of that aspect. But everything else, I do agree with you. Like, so I'm going to top it off on a 6 because I did
6 out of
appreciate
10.
Now, some of you might notice our scores may be a little different. We did change things around. I'm sorry, Josh. I know you're going to go through it. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that some people might be a little confused. I changed it around a little bit, but it's pretty much the same.
It's pretty much the same as just an additional thing that we're going to talk about. Oh, so how comparable is this to the video game? Well, it has zombies. It has Claire and Carlos. It has Wesker. So I'd say 3 out of 10 because while it has those people in name alone, it does follow nothing. It has nothing to do with the Resident Evil storyline or anything related to the game. They misuse the characters and the established lore. And yeah, again, like you said, they focus on Alice because that's who's the main protagonist, and everyone else is just there to support Alice.
Did you give this a 3 or a 3.5?
3.
I am also going to give this a 3 because I agree with Josh. You can call a dog a cat doesn't mean it's a cat.
Could be a cat dog though.
Yeah, cat dog. But like that's pretty much what they did. They're like, here are these characters. They're not them, but they are them. Like, and it's like I mentioned before, like the person that they had playing Claire looked nothing like Claire. Don't get me wrong, Welcome to Raccoon City wasn't that great, but the person that got to play Claire
was at least dressed more like Claire.
Looked almost
slightly
exactly
more
like
like
her.
Claire. Yeah.
And this, they didn't even try. They
Nope.
didn't even try. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3 as well, Josh.
Yeah. Well, I guess this leads into our very next one, which is a new topic. How well was this movie cast? Were the characters were they accurate to the story? I'd say the person who was the most alike was Wesker, even though the actor, if they had cast Anthony Starr as Wesker, it would have been the perfect casting.
Is it because of stars?
No.
I
just
had
think
to make that reference.
he could probably have done it better. But no, I mean, Wesker was just, we have to do this. These are my commands. These are my orders, Doctor. Get it done. But again, not that great. So if he's the best, everyone else is just dog shit. Claire was horrible. Carlos was slightly better, but not anywhere near Carlos. And that's it. That's all there was. We have like 3 examples of people from the game. They just use their name.
And what would you give this one? Also
I'd say this is a 2 out of
Yeah.
10. Yeah.
I actually think I'm going to change my score for the other one because that one I was basing kind of like off the characters. So I would give this one a 3. How comparable to the video game? I give it a 2.
Yeah.
Because they just made up their own story and then dressed it up as Resident Evil.
Yeah, I mean, while we were talking, we brought up very small things they could have done that would have immediately tied it like an Easter egg to the lore, the established lore, and could have opened up the gates to bring in these other characters like Chris and Leon, but they didn't do that. They chose to just have these random plot devices that are there simply to move the characters along, and that's it. Yeah, so very disappointed. I think the best casting in the entire series so far has been the actress that played Jill in the second one. She was on point. She looked like Jill. She acted like Jill. Other than that, everyone else has been dog shit.
I remember her being very campy.
But
in the
that's
second one.
fine. She looked exactly like Jill and acted like Jill. That's all I care about.
And she was a Jill sandwich. Oh no, you almost became a Jill sandwich. Oh, you hate me right now. Hey.
Okay, what's your score?
Like I said on this one.
Oh yeah, you changed. This one's a 3.
This one's
yeah.
a 3, and the other one's a 2 because, how comparable to the video game, I guess, as a whole. Again, this was just something dressed as Resident Evil when it was really could have been a completely different thing.
Yeah. And for our last scoring topic, was this a good movie / would you suggest it? And since I've led each of these, I'll let you go first on this one.
As for saying this is a good movie, I'm going to say no. This movie reminded me of how when you see Tropic Thunder, you talk about these actors that are in these overly top, they joke like these overly top action movies. That is what this reminded me of like a movie joking about an actor being in an action movie that's overly cheesy and corny. That was totally it. Mila was dressed to the nines in every single scene, and they CGI airbrushed her face to make sure that she didn't look sweaty while everybody else did. No, this wasn't a good movie, and no, I would not suggest it. Not even as a laundry movie, because to follow anything that's going on, apparently you can't even look down and type down some fucking notes. So this is a double no for me.
I will say that this is not the worst movie we have seen. I will say that if you are a person who is not well versed in the lore of Resident Evil, you might find enjoyment in it. Like I said, your niece liked it, knowing nothing about the series. My parents would probably like this movie. But as someone who really enjoys Resident Evil, this movie felt a bit of a letdown. I won't say it's the worst movie in the series. I also won't say it's a good movie, though. I'd say just you can watch it. I don't even think it's worth paying to rent it, though. So if you have a way to watch it for free, yeah, give it a shot. Would I suggest it? Only to people that don't know anything about Resident Evil. Watch the first movie, and if you like that, watch the rest of them. If you like Resident Evil a lot, you probably already know to stay away from this series, so I don't need to suggest it to you. So I'm looking at it from 2 angles. Me personally, no. Someone on the outside, just give it a shot. Yeah, sure.
Okay. I guess I agree with that to a certain extent, but I'm gonna stick with no.
No.
No. So we're trying something new. We have signed up. We are now on Letterboxd. You can follow us on letterboxd.com. Just look up for 8-Bit Movie Review. Now, from going forward, any movies we do, we will be leaving a small review from each of us, a quick thought of what we thought of this movie. I will go first. I will say, if you are a fan of the franchise, you will tear your hair out and scratch your head with confusion of wondering why there's characters with the names of characters we love, but not doing the things that these characters would basically do. Though, if you're not a fan of the franchise, you might love this movie. My niece wants to watch it again, and she's 14.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is this the worst movie in the Resident Evil with Mila Jovovich series? No. Is it a great movie? No. Will you like this movie if you really enjoy the Resident Evil series? No. Because this movie, in name alone, is Resident Evil. It has zombies. It has certain characters from the franchise, but they do not have the same motivation or even drive as the characters in the franchise. So, if you're a person on the outside who's never played a Resident Evil, you could give this movie a shot, but watch it for free.
That nailed it. That fucking nailed it. So like I said, going forward, after this, we'll have many, many reviews on Letterboxd, and make sure to follow us and all that stuff. Speaking of future things we're going to cover, which we're not covering a movie next, which after this, thank goodness, we already said what we're going to do, but you know what, Josh? So let's remind the folks at home what we're covering next week.
This upcoming week, we're going to be covering Castlevania Symphony of the Night in our monthly video game review.
And I'm having a blast playing this fucking game. I can't wait to discuss. We almost discussed a good amount of it at the beginning, but we're going to go over a lot. We're going to go over gameplay, some of the weird characters that are in it, and even though we already did a music discussion, we're going to discuss the fucking music.
Oh yeah, we'll have some of the music queued up because this was one that was on PlayStation. The music was just unbelievable. The gameplay was like I was trying to say, groundbreaking. This is where the term Metroidvania came from, because Metroid was a series that was doing something like this, where you go to an area, go to other areas, get upgrades, go back to previous areas, progress a little further, find more. There's hidden stuff. There's hidden areas. Castlevania did this, but they did that better. So now we have the term Metroidvania because of this game.
And I'm looking forward to breaking it down with you, buddy. Now, as usual, as we always say at the end, if there's anything that we missed discussing this movie, or if there's anything you'd like to hear us cover, please reach out to us at 8bitmoviereview@gmail.com. And you can also reach out to us on Facebook and Instagram, and don't forget to check us out on Letterboxd, baby.
Or if you want to listen to our backlog of video game movie reviews and music reviews and game reviews and news reviews, you can go to our website at www.anchor.fm/8bitpod. That'll also lead you to all of our streaming options, which include Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Speaking of Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, and you'll be able to leave a comment, which 9 months later we will read on the podcast when it's irrelevant.
But the point is, we will read it.
Maybe just to ourselves.
And then just promise every episode that we're going to read it. Oh, boy. But I'm Andrew Gonzalez.
And I'm Josh Edgington.
And we'll see you next week, motherfuckers.